This is DRF Race of the Day. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF Race of the Day for Thursday, January the 28th. Race number 7 at Aqueduct. Let's throw up the field for this $50,000 maiden claimer going a one-turn mile for 3-year-olds. You can download free Formulator Pass performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page, DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. Timeform US believes the 7, Blue Grotto, will make the early lead, and the way Blue Grotto is running his last 2 starts, I'll have to agree.
Yeah, me too. I think they, if nothing else, then they should use his speed in here. They've used it in both of his dirt starts so far. And obviously he was in a pretty tough race 2 starts back going longer, but in this condition last time, he ran fine.
And I guess in this Shack, the 6 can also be forward. He is stretching out off of a couple of sprint efforts, but Blue Grotto's best races have come on the lead. I would think he's going to be right up front. We Ready is the number 1 in here for trainer Chad Summers. Maybe Chad shot a little bit too high with this horse in the maiden special ranks in his career debut. It was an okay field, and he just couldn't get out of first gear. He's by a very strong young stallion, and not this time. The Dam was a multiple stakes place dirt sprinter. Maybe we'll see an improved performance, dropping and adding blinkers.
Right. I mean, I guess that's supposed to be the recipe here, right? He drops out of a maiden special rate where, you know, listen, he just really didn't do any running at all. He lost ground at every point of call in there, never was involved far back at the finish of that race. If nothing else, the class drop is supposed to help him. We'll just see if he shows up and does any running at all this time.
Another horse dropping out of the maiden ranks. This one adding Lasix is the number 2, Ask Neil, a son of Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner California Chrome. Not a lot of early speed for this horse. He's likely to be lingering near the back of the pack. Saved ground last time out, was under some heavy urging on the turn, hopped back to his left lead late. Another horse that probably should appreciate a little bit of class relief. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lasix moves him up for a very good trainer.
Yeah, I think all those things are true. I mean, at least, you know, in his case, he's sort of steadily coming forward with every race so far. He's never really been a factor yet. I was a little disappointed, Dan, in his race 2 starts back. That was a pretty good field, but he spent a lot of time on a good rail that day. He got outrun. He just sat on the inside on a day where the inside was the place to be, and he just didn't really do that much. Last time, I thought maybe he could have used a little bit more of an aggressive ride. He didn't get one. And he just was never really involved. I feel like with this class drop with Lasix on, you might see them get a little more aggressive with this horse.
Rocco Strong, Lasix on, blinkers off, stretching out in distance, and maybe the latter is what's most important. This is a son of Preakness winner Shackelford, who sprinted a couple of times and just hasn't done too much. Listed as a vet scratch on January the 8th for Carlos Martin. This horse does have a little bit of pedigree. You feel it's a little early to give up on him, but it's now time for him to start showing something.
Yeah, agreed. He's going to have to take a step forward in this race. I think it's interesting that Cancel winds up on this horse, Dan. And, you know, I'm not going to, you know, make a big excuse for his dirt debut last time. But, you know, it was a race where, to me, it sort of looked like this horse was still a little green in that race. It was his first time on dirt. He had horses sort of swing up on his outside coming to the stretch. And he looked to me like he got a little intimidated by that and sort of drifted in there. Maybe, you know, with a little bit more experience, he can do a little better.
If you're looking for a horse at a big price, sort of the stranger in the race is the 4, Mischievous Juan, who's coming in from Parks. He's run 3 times in his career, and if you look at the company lines, he's been running against better horses. In his debut, he was in against a first-time starter that just ran off the screen by 10 lengths. That horse might be good, hasn't run back since. In his second start, showed a little bit of speed and then was eased. And then last time out, what kind of chance did he have? He was in against Capo Kane, who came back to win the Jerome in New York with an 84 Beyer speed figure. So he's faced better horses. We've established that. He just hasn't done any running yet.
Yeah, it's a tough call. He's an interesting new face, if nothing else, into this group, and he's finally getting the class drop he needs. Again, though, even if you're going to give him a pass for bumping into Capo Kane last time, then you have to judge him off of his first 2 starts. I don't really know what that says about him, Dan. He hasn't done that much.
Sonograpto, the number 5, is another horse that could improve with the addition of Lasix. Horse a little bit of a pedigree. He is a son of Orb. He's a half-brother to a graded stakes-winning dirt router named Apart. He's a half to a stakes-winning turf router named Unlatch. And this horse was no match for Blue Grotto last time out. He just sort of saved ground in behind the pace, came out with a shot in the stretch, finished up evenly. It was a wet racetrack. Maybe he'll do better on fast going.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. He's not impossible in this race. His last 2 starts, he's run against Blue Grotto both times and finished behind that horse both times. So he's got some ground to make up on Blue Grotto.
Here's another Shackelford colt stretching out. That's the 6 Sinashak. We're going to watch his most recent race, $50,000 seller at the Big A on December the 18th. You see he's down on the inside in this race, and he's going to finish up evenly. He's only going to be beaten a length. There was a decent pace in front of him. And the horse that ends up winning this race, the number 9 on your screen, Accelerator, would come back to win a starter optional claimer with a 70 buyer.
Right. This is actually a pretty good race for the level. I thought this horse ran okay, Dan. I didn't really see an excuse for him. You see him sort of running on there at the end of the race, but to me, it was that kind of a race to be racing on late. The horses that ran second and third came from way out of it and picked up pieces, and this horse to me was kind of doing that. I mean, he was a little closer to the pace, if you want to give him some credit for that, to be sure. I feel like just based on his last 2 races, he's a logical contender in this race. We'll see what kind of price he is.
No, he certainly fits. And if he takes a step forward with the addition of distance, he's going to be right there. Another horse getting Lasix for the first time, as is the 7 Blue Grotto. Let's watch Blue Grotto's last race, his first start in for a tag, his first start with blinkers. He made a pretty legitimate pace in here, Mike, and he's trying to get away from Bourbonic at 7-5, and he doesn't change leads until very late. Bourbonic's going to sweep by him right now. Bourbonic might be okay. He came back to win a starter optional with a 71 buyer.
Right. Yeah, that horse could be okay. I thought Blue Grotto ran fine in this race, Dan. Put him on the lead. He was clear to the turn. You just saw him get overwhelmed there at the end by a better horse. But all in all, I thought that was a pretty good performance for a horse who was dropping and cutting back out of a super tough maiden special weight race going 9 furlongs prior to that, where he showed speed and tired. It just feels like he's kind of in the right spot here, whether he wins or not.
Nerves of Steel, the number 8, was completely overmatched in his career debut at Saratoga. Muddy track, maiden special weight. The runner-up, highly motivated, is a very promising horse. You could probably be very forgiving with that performance, as he was also outside. He then returned off of a lengthy layoff, took a hint of money, and didn't do any running for a maiden special, but maybe he needed the race off the summer vacation. So dropping in class, stretching out, second off the layoff, blinkers on. If he goes off a little more than 8-1, maybe he's somewhat interesting.
Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, the way that you laid him out off of his first race is exactly the way that I looked at him last time, Dan. I just felt like he was the kind of horse who probably deserved another one off of that debut, wet track, tough field. He showed actually a little speed in that race and was wide. So I just thought he was interesting off of the layoff last time. And as it turns out, he didn't break that great. I will say that about him. But man, he didn't really do any running at all in that race. Now they're going to drop him and stretch him out. We'll see what happens.
Top pick time for the Thursday race of the day at the Big A. We're both going with Blue Grotto. I think his speed makes him very, very dangerous. I'm curious to see what we get from the 6 Sinashak, if he's going to put a lot of pressure on Blue Grotto early. But I like Blue Grotto. I think he's getting better. I think he's found his right level. I do like Ask Neil a little bit, adding Lasix as my price horse.
Yeah, I think we kind of looked at it the same way, Dan. I put Blue Grotto on top as well. I'm not going to sit here and make a big case for this horse. I thought he ran fine last time. And a similar effort should give him a pretty good chance in here. I can't say that I love him, but I don't really like anybody else.
7-2, 6 and 8 for Mike. 7-2, 5 and 6 for me. $50,000 claimer, your Thursday DRF race of the day, the 7th at Aqueduct, approximate post time of 3:50 Eastern. Good luck.